But guys, well, do you want to dive in with the MCP spec? We have to talk about it. It's super important, I think, itself, right? We have a new spec that came out on the 2 days ago. Everybody's kind of been talking about it, stateless. We don't need
there
to
were
do
parties
initialization
globally, like the AAIF hosted launch parties for the spec. There was cake here in the San Francisco party, a couple of big giant cakes with MCP and the July 28th spec date on it. It was a big event, huge globally.
Weren't you at a party too? Or was that your birthday, Mike?
Yeah, no, I was at the MCP launch party in New York. Yeah, we had cake and stuff too. I didn't have any, but it was it looked really cool. It was awesome. We had a couple of great speakers. I spoke on MCP security, and then we had speakers on like the new spec and how Datadog's MCP server works and everything. So yeah, it was really cool. It was a good time.
What was like the highlight of or like the Cole's notes of what you talked about? Because I heard great things from people like, oh, Mike gave a great speech on or great talk on MCP security.
Yeah, I essentially what I did was I said like, hey, I'm gonna dive into what security looks like today for MCP, and I only had 30 minutes, so it was like some of it was more hand wavy than I would have liked and stuff. But I would say probably the biggest thing, still for me, even the biggest thing is around like anything token exchange related, anything around OVO, and then one of the things that popped up a lot, and I feel like for us, it's so basic, but because we work on it every single day, but for so many people, it's not basic, which is MCP tool selection. So like I was showing, like you can select 5 tools, 4 tools, no tools, do authentication against that, right? Put a token in front and say, hey, I need to be able to authenticate via token. And oh, by the way, you may only have access to 3 out of 20 tools or whatever. And that's something that like people are really, really interested in. For us, it's like we feel like it's basic stuff because we're working on it every day. But for everybody else, right, that's not living in this daily, that's still a really big talking point. So I'd say those 2 things.
Mate, that last point, you've highlighted the one thing that I do trigger into a rant almost every time about, because with the stateless spec, taking that session ID out, that means anyone can do a header parser now and say, we support MCP. Well, I'm going to push back on that and say, no, what you mean is you don't break MCP anymore.
Right.
You are not looking inside that, looking at the tools, running that past your authorization policy and saying, no, this person is not getting the 128 tools behind our MCP endpoint. This person should not get those things. They get the 3 ones that we approved for them to develop against. And that does not happen from having some header parsing that allows me to do an MCP message routing decision like a front-end load balance would do. So, see, I told you I got to go to rant mode on this. Every time I hear this, I'm like, no, not breaking MCP because I can now do a Python wrapper around my generic proxy. You haven't supported it. You are not doing governance. You're not doing control. You are not managing MCP. You need full parsing and understanding and state manage of that. Even if it's a stateless protocol, if you're going to be managing state across departments and with an authentic identity provider, easy for me to say in the morning, you've got to be doing more than just header parsing. And this is what we've been doing the whole time with the stateful version, and we will continue to provide all of that ability with the stateless version. And so watch out for all those we support MCP. Like I'm calling BS on half of them preemptively. Go a little deeper. What do you support? Do you enhance the experience with MCP is my question.
And maybe we could dive into that a little bit deeper because I think that that's important, right? So like conceptually, when we're thinking about MCP before stateless, everything was in the body of a request or a response, right? So the name, the tool calls, the ID, everything was there, right? And because of that, it's tightly coupled. And because it's tightly coupled, that's why it was very difficult to do things like standard round robin load balancing. So like if we're thinking about Kubernetes, right, let's say we have 3 pods running an application and we have a service in front of those pods. If one of those pods goes down, it's fine because the state is still across 2 other pods, right? So you can still hit the configurations, the applications, if the service is where you're coming in. With MCP, we weren't able to do that because everything was in the body, right? So like what you hit was what you hit. Like you couldn't move that around. Whereas with stateless, you have things like the tool call or the ID within the header, which means it's not in the body anymore. And that means you can think about like round robin based approaches where you have 3 MCP servers running, some service in front, request comes in, and it can route to whatever of those 3 backends because it's going based on the ID, right? And the ID is now in the header versus in the body. To your point, Nathan, it's not that everything is now in the header, right? It's still JSON RPC underneath the hood, right? There's still a response. There's still a request in the body, but how you're routing, how you're scaling out can now be in the header. So that's an important distinction. Like you still need both of those things because otherwise you wouldn't get valid information back or two. So you still have those things.
Yes. Thank you for putting much needed clarity around my rant. I think
that's perfect, man.
And I think also it's like, I think that this is going to make adoption of MCP easy is a strong word, but much more relevant. Like people are going to be far more open to the adoption of MCP now that it works the same way as like a lot of other protocols that people are used to. You know,
it solves a performance and resilience scale problem for early adoption. It does not solve any kind of observability, governance, and policy at all. In fact, if anything, it opens the floodgates worse. So that's the trade-off you're getting here. Rapid scale, but blind dumb scale is the problem.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like there is a big authorization change within stateless MCP, but it's like the change is that it now aligns closely with OAuth and OIDC spec versus like it having its own thing. So it's now creating a standardization that the rest of the industry has already standardized on, and therefore client to server interactions for anything auth and auth is going to be a lot easier. Like I have the list here. It's if anybody's interested, I'm going to put this in the chat.
No, let's do it. Let's see it.
Yeah. There's a couple of SEPs. I put them in the chat here, and this is like what's that doesn't look good.
That doesn't look. That looks horrible. Actually, don't do that again.
Yeah, I don't know how to make that look better. But there's 6. There's SEP 2468, 837, 2352, 2207, 2350, and 2351. And essentially, what all of them are doing is like effectively saying you need to follow this, OAuth 2.0 and OIDC standards, more or less. I'm oversimplifying it, but
the authorization side of it has to evolve to support some of these things still. We're seeing standards come out that are not even adopted yet, like the whole XAA, IDJAG, etc. Like, it's so new and evolving, but it's changing fast.
Yeah, it's changing fast, and then like clients will have to evolve to support it, right? Because that was like one of the biggest things with MCP always. Like, let's say you wanted like standard OIDC based OAuth. And you had 3 clients, MCP Inspector, Hoot, MCP Jam, VS Code, whatever else. Like conceptually, MCP may allow that spec, but that doesn't mean that the clients had to follow that spec. So like one auth pattern may work in one client versus not in the other. So I think they're trying to tighten that up, which makes sense, right? Because it's like that just causes a whole bunch of problems.
But do you guys think we're going to see more like a greater adoption now just because it's getting more mature? Because a lot of tools already have. Like I've spoken with a lot of enterprises. They've built MCP tools on the old spec, and now they're going to be or some that actually haven't done anything and they're waiting. But do you think there'll be more adoption of MCP? Like it's going to exponentially, like a hockey stick kind of go? Because of this, or
I got 2 answers to this, so you go, Michael. I'm conflicted.
I would say now that like we have both stateless and stateful, it's much easier to adopt especially in like the cloud native world. Like I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was like, well, MCP is a standard now for agent tool calls. And the answer was like, well, it's still too early to tell if it's a standard. And it's like, no, like it doesn't matter if it's been around for a year, 5 years, or 10 years, or 3 minutes. Like what matters is conceptually what the community and big tech organizations and stuff deem a standard, right? Like a standard doesn't come from like how great a technology is. Standard comes from like hive mind. Like, is everybody thinking the same thing? If so, that's the standard. So I would say that it's the standard right now. It might change tomorrow, but that's definitely the standard.
There's a lot of discussions. Like this one comes up a lot in like Reddit for MCP, where people are like, "I'm not using it. I'm creating a local tool and just solving it locally in my binary because I know what tools I want access to." It's a little less agile. It won't evolve obviously to any changes because now you're managing that tool and that surface area yourself. Yeah. And then the other side where people are saying like, so why do we need it? And then inevitably someone will say, there's like a billion APIs out there that I could just drop an MCP in front of and, you know, we're working. It's not all about your side and the ability to create like a shortcut when you want to. There's so much surface area out there that just to get it up and running and AI friendly, that's the smoothest part, right?
And even like we have like code mode now too, which is like, yeah, you're hitting some function and some method somewhere in some application stack as a function call tool, but the response is still coming back as like an MCP response. So like there's a couple of different ways to do it, but it still always seems to come back to like the like something MCP related.